This program contains adult content. Parental discretion is advised.
Picture contains scenes of strong physical force. Parental discretion is advised.
I don't have fancy graphics, and I do not have an original song. Hopefully I don't get taken down by this. Hey, hi everybody, thank you for joining me. So I'm just gonna give credit to where it's due. I do not know the original YouTuber who created this, but you know, this is a parody of the song "Hey, What's Going On" by the Four Non-Blondes, and you know, this is like a really old school song. Like, you know, if you guys are my age, you would know where it's, you know that song. Anyway, so this is what's going on. What's going on with Roxy? So actually, this is supposed to be up here. So more like, what is going on with Roxy? So the question mark is supposed to be here. So anyways, here we go. Low budget, right? Anyway, so let's get this started. Thank you for joining me. I am gonna have my guest come in a few moments. Hopefully he's there. This is my very first web chat show. This is a mini chat show. It's gonna be for 30 minutes. Maybe it'll be longer. We don't know. This is the pilot. This is the demo. This is the sample. All right. So what inspired me to do this is I have done blogs before. I have done Instagram Live before, talking about stuff, and I've been, you know, covering debates during Instagram Live. Back in 2010 and 11, I've been doing something called the Puto blog, and I think some of these people who have followed me on Facebook, I have wrote about people who have been just naughty, and I would put my stamp, put like big letters "puto" on it, and then there they are. So that's pretty much my beginnings. But I've been wanting to like just get into a dialogue to talk about topics that are trending today, and we want to do it like in a fun and very comfortable way. You know, basically very relaxed, and just by relaxed I mean, you know, this is not coffee. So that's pretty much how relaxed I am. I'm gonna introduce this gentleman. I known him for a long time. I known him for nearly like pretty much 21 years. I known him. He was my coworker. We used to work in public access together, and we need to talk about this topic, which is the cancel culture. And we've been on public television. We've been working in news, and he's been working in entertainment. So who else, you know, to talk about this casually, talk about this, and you know, see it in both sides. Okay, so let's get him. His name is Todd, and he has a show that's been running for nearly 20 years as well. It's called Around Midnight, and now it's on Facebook, I believe. It used to be on public access, but now it's on Around Midnight. It's on Facebook. As you can tell, I am terrified right now, so please bear with me. All right, let's get live. The fuck, you just scared the shit out of me. Wow.
Hi.
It's like your face looks like a meme. I swear, it looks like a meme.
What's the good angle? I don't know.
Okay, that angle was good. The one that you started with. No, the other side. Dude, the other side. There we go.
This is my good side?
Yes. The good side. What? So let me tell you guys, guys do worry about their sides, their favorite sides. So it's not just us.
That reminds me, I think I saw a funny meme. It was like my 5-year-old daughter said nobody does a middle part in their hair anymore. So I changed my Wi-Fi password. Let's see who's being dramatic now. Kids. They're the worst.
Thank you for joining me, and it's been a long time since like last time we talked. Actually, we interacted on social media, but like it's been a long time, and I'm glad you're employed.
Oh yeah,
I'm just
you
gonna
and me
tell
both,
you.
sister.
Huh?
Yeah, you and me both, sister. It's crazy out there.
I'm not employed, hon. No,
Yeah,
no.
it's a lot of people are in that situation. It's terrible.
It's terrible, terrible. You know,
It's terrible.
is that a Cosby thing?
Wow,
One of the cancel people.
I thought it was more like a Shaq thing. Or no, that's like Charles Barkley. He was like, it's terrible,
Oh yes, yes, yes. That's terrible, man. That was terrible. Like,
terrible.
dude. Like, I don't understand why Charles Barkley didn't get back into SNL as a host. You know, like he should be back and just do this again. You know, instead of like who was this guy who was there last night? Like,
Mm.
you know, I do
I
not
mean,
watch Brit. What is it called? Bridgeton.
Bridgerton. I think
Bridgerton. Yeah.
I think my wife watched the crap out of that show. Yeah, I have no idea what it's about. It sounded, I don't know, good, I guess, but
No,
I
it's
go,
because he has a nice ass and he bears it
yeah,
on the show.
yeah. I think I saw one episode where there was some busty midwives or something there, and I was like, oh, maybe the show is pretty good. But
That
then I
is
didn't
such a
watch
guy
any.
thing to say. It's funny.
Yeah, there's
There's
not. It's
busty women. Yay, I'm gonna stay.
yeah, I'm
I'm
tuning
even
in
gonna
every
watch
week
it.
for this now. Yeah.
I do not want to commit to so many TV shows that I don't really care
Mm.
if okay, like the guy's cute, okay, but still I want to watch so many shows. This is ginger ale and whiskey. If
Nice.
anybody who knows a whiskey brand like Suntory whiskey,
Hmm, hmm.
make sure you talk. You know,
Oh my
I
goodness.
need a
Next
job.
time, next
I
time I
can.
go to Japan.
I mean,
Yeah.
this one is like you can see it's almost out.
No, we're not drinking like we used to when we were kids. So yeah, you're not killing that in one day. So, you
No,
know,
no.
it's a and that's a sipping whiskey. That's like your good whiskey.
Oh yeah, it's just very good.
Some
Because
people would probably be like, what are you putting that nice whiskey with some ginger for? You're ruining it.
I just need a little, you know, mixing because
Yeah.
then the interview would go really awkward. I mean, I'm
Like,
showing you a favor, but not, you know, going like this, you know,
yeah.
like.
Like, what are we talking about again?
Anyways, so I just wanted to just address the topic, which is the cancel culture that is been actually in the old days when we were younger and when you started your show, it was called boycotting, or
Hmm.
a more sophisticated term called doxing. And so you had a show, you started a show with your brother and your friends. Was it the total of four of you? And
Hmm.
you were in public access. And what was the year you started? Is 98 or 99?
But yeah, I think it was 99. It must have been.
99. Okay.
Yeah.
I remember the 90s where we used to listen to K Rock and there was Love Line, right? And I want to ask, is this something that inspired you to do it?
Oh yeah, come on. That show was the hottest thing everywhere. Everybody loved that show, and it was like, I went to bed listening to that show when I was a kid. So yeah, it definitely informed the way
Too bad.
I do things. Yeah, you stay up late, listen to a little Love Line.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, it was, and yeah, we used to. I mean, when we were on the air at public access, we would get so many callers that would just call up just to call into whatever show was on live at the time, because we did so many live shows, and our show in particular got so many calls. Maybe it was because we were on at midnight. That probably had something to do with it.
And
And
was it
people were
when?
just getting,
When
yeah,
was
people were
it?
just getting Friday night at midnight.
Exactly.
So yeah, it was people were just getting home from the bar. They were already pretty sauced up, and they were
Right.
like, "I'm gonna call into this public access show and totally f with these rubes."
Were you the screener? I mean, who answered the phone?
Oh yeah, call screener. Yeah, that was me.
And what was the craziest? Do you remember the craziest call you got that you had to say, "I'm not taking this call"?
I mean, people were yeah pretty good at just like saying, I mean, it wasn't a rigorous screening process by any means. What's your name? Okay, hold on. And as long as you could hold on for a couple minutes, you would probably get on the air and you could say, "Oh, if you guys click," which was, you know, that was about the level of sophistication we were dealing with 99% of the people that would call in.
Right. And like, because here's the thing, that was before somebody can comment on a computer, or like,
Oh yeah,
on a chat thing, or the Facebook
yeah,
was invented. There were people calling in and saying things on the air, but they
yeah.
can make up a names like, oh, my name is John. Hi, I'm Michelle. I like to talk about,
Hmm.
something controversial, blah blah. But then
Yeah,
there's the people who are behind the mic, who are hosting, and they're like, well, whatever they're going to say on the air, it's there, and somebody's going to tape it. Because and that,
that,
but we would tape record that, and like, hey, Adam Carolla said something, or like, oh, Todd said something, or like Joe said something, like, and we will record. And actually, it's not just it wasn't like a radio show. Your show was on TV. It was,
yeah,
we could see you,
yeah,
and it was a poor lighting, but we could still see you.
yeah.
I mean, that's public access for you, because I've been in
Yeah,
that studio too, and I did a show with Hutch years later, falsettos groups, and I remember co-hosting it, and it was really fun. But like, the lighting was just like, dude, you can only see this part of my face,
yeah.
like,
You
that's it.
you
The,
really had to have, yeah, you had to have a whole crew of people doing jobs, and most of the time it was just the four of us. Maybe part of this whole cancel culture policy that everyone has nowadays is there's so much anonymity that people have online.
right.
You could just, hashtag cancel Gina Carano, fire Gina,
Right.
and
How
does
did you
that
feel
have
about that?
any?
How did you feel
I
when you
mean,
heard about her being fired?
when I heard about it, I'm like, oh, not my girl Gina. And I don't have my finger on the pulse of things. I so rarely go on my Twitter. I don't know what's going on there, what people are tweeting. I follow a bunch of people, what they're actually talking about, who knows? But yeah, once I read some of the stuff about what's going on with her, what's going on like on The Bachelor, my wife was just telling me about how Chris Harrison stepped down from The Bachelor.
Oh, the host, right?
Yeah, the
I don't
host,
watch it,
because
so
of,
it fill me in.
yeah, I don't watch it either, but but it sounded pretty controversial because I saw the video that people are talking about now, that he was defending one of the contestants, because of course it's like one of those things where you're like, how far in the past are you going to be responsible for every single thing you've ever thought or put on the internet? And
Mm,
these days, it's everything.
yeah.
If you have anything on the internet that is the least bit controversial or goes against the grain of the, current political climate, that's going to get brought up and thrown in your face, and you could lose everything you've worked for.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
That's like what almost happened to James Gunn when he
exactly. I
got
was gonna go
fired.
into that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. He got fired from Guardians because of
Temporarily.
some distasteful tweets he had. And I mean, that's the problem. Like, where's the line drawn?
Right.
Because what did Gina Carano really do?
Well, she said some things that, I mean, look, I don't have to agree with her. Um,
Yeah,
like, here's the thing: is like, yeah, she's a public figure. She works for Disney. She's a Star Wars in the franchise, and it's, if you're in this, you made it. Like, this is a dream come true for many
yeah.
actors. You have no idea. Like, these people
You've
watching,
made it
or
on the gravy train.
yeah, there are some things in her wording that sound very ignorant, that she exaggerated. She went
Mhm.
hyperbole on her comparison when it comes to like conservatives being persecuted of what they say on
Yeah,
Twitter, on social media, and they're being persecuted like the Jews being chased by the Nazis back in
yeah,
the day. And I mean, that is a very extreme comparison. Like, actually, it's not a comparison. This is just a really dumbfounded comment.
yeah.
Like,
It's just a dumb
and
idea.
it is a very dumb idea. And I think here's the thing: I don't have to agree with her, but when I
Mm,
heard when she got fired, and I'm like, she got fired because she said something, but did she had a time to apologize or to address the issue or to say,
mm,
you know, um, I don't really know about this, so maybe it's time for me to educate myself on this and then like,
yeah.
what's going on in the political climate, like why is this country divided? Like have a time to at least address the issue. And she didn't have that chance.
Mm,
I don't think she did. After her firing, it's kind of like she had a point, like a
mm,
little bit. It's
yeah.
not like I'm siding with her, but at the same time I saw something else, which is, you know, a double standard. Because I
Mm,
remember when Chris Pratt announced his support for Donald Trump and
mm,
his involvement with with a homophobic church.
mm,
And he was not shy about that support. He wasn't like keeping it to himself. No, everybody on Instagram knew about it. Everybody on Twitter knew about it.
mm.
He never got fired for it.
I
You know,
wonder, yeah, if that's just a general difference because he was kind of just supporting a, I don't know if it's how accepted it is nowadays, but it's a long held belief by Christian people that, it's kind of an homosexual stance that they generally have. And I wonder if he's just kind of, you know, and I've heard this term is very, very racist, but grandfathered in, where he's just believing the old rhetoric of, the people that he's grown up listening to in the church. And
right.
yeah, is he actually making his own decisions? Is he making his own ideas up, or is he just repeating what he's heard over the years?
And the same analysis should be into Gina, because
Yeah.
I mean, I think female actors are more doxxed than men. And because,
Mm,
and a lot of people have responded, like, when I make comments regarding, the post about her, and like I addressed the sexism and the double standard, they were telling me, but Chris Pratt is a nice guy.
yeah.
He keeps it to himself. And I'm like, he keeps it to
Yeah.
himself. He never kept it to himself. He may have said it in a more polite way, but still,
Uh,
it's
yeah,
just
I wonder if there's multiple strikes though, because I feel like yeah, the more people looked into Gina Carano, the more they found things they didn't care for. Like she was an open anti-masker and
yeah.
pro, pro a bunch of stuff that's just like, people these days are just like, I don't know about that, brosif.
So another thing is, like, when you were doing the show, or like the time you guys were doing the show, have you received any backlash, or you or any of you guys, for something that you have said on the air that you can remember? You can try to remember.
I mean, the most controversial figure is usually Chevelle. He's the guy who's out there, spouting his crazy ideas. But see, the thing about him is he is a much more well-read person on these topics, which I respect. And I feel like if you have these kind of off-the-wall ideas, or what we might consider off-the-wall ideas, where he is, kind of an anti-masker, but then he he doesn't live in California anymore. He's living in, I don't know, BFE, Iowa, wherever he is. So yeah,
BFE.
yeah, I
What's
don't
BFE
know.
mean? Is it a bad
Oh,
word?
this is a family friend. No, it's not an N word. What?
Is
But
that a
fuck
bad
you.
word? No, is that a
That
bad
I
word?
mean that's probably another thing that's probably not that politically correct to say anymore. Uh, but fuck Egypt is what. God, that's what people used to say. But maybe now that I think about it, that's not probably kind of a, I don't know, possibly racist thing to say.
It's like in the middle of a desert. It's not
Yeah,
like
just
the
like the
sea.
middle of nowhere, or whatever. But yeah, he has a different outlook on things where the population density is a lot different there. So yeah, maybe they don't need to be taking the same precautions
Right.
as people living in a metropolitan area.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that kind of thing maybe needs to be taken into consideration when you're making laws.
Uh, when it comes to a public emergency and
Mhm.
you are running a city or you're running a state, right?
Mhm.
And you have this many people or you have this many people in your city in your town, you got to do something, and it's
Yeah.
affecting everywhere.
Yeah, is it really asking that much to strap a piece of fabric to your face? You're gonna pass out because you're wearing this tiny scrap of fabric for 5 minutes of the day while you're walking from your car into the grocery store to grab your Cheerios and then back out? How long is it gonna take?
Why
Boom,
is gonna grab?
Cheerios back.
I wanted to move forward with the next question. So, when it comes to social media now, because I think we went through the before Facebook and even MySpace existed. I think MySpace. Can you agree that MySpace was a lot better, or do you wish we could go back to that?
Better? Better how? How is MySpace better?
I'm just saying, I used to blog there and there used to be like comments on the bottom where I can actually reply and
Yeah.
like, but it wasn't like a really, really, really wrong thread or like you suck or you're you're stupid or whatever. No, it was educated. I mean, at least in my page was like that.
Yeah. I
I don't
wonder
know.
I wonder though, because that's been what they've been perfecting over the years are these algorithms that that are catered to make your Facebook wall full of things that you like and agree with. Because if you see
Ooh,
things you like and agree with, you're more likely to keep scrolling and you'll stay on their website longer and see more ads. But
ugh.
if you see something you don't like, you get an angry face and you have to turn it off. And you don't like that. So yeah, what's the point? I mean, that's I feel like what people said happened. Why Trump got elected? Because
Twitter.
because people were in their bubble and they only heard people that they agreed with. And they were like, oh, that guy's a joke. He'll never get elected. Oh, shit, he actually got elected. What the fuck?
That's why I hate Twitter. And to this day, I cannot, get into using it. I think it's just, I mean, look, I got back into TikTok. I reactivated with a little bit of shame. But you
Yeah,
know what? Look, I'm a Gen Xer. Okay, I'm 40 years
yeah,
old and I fucking
yeah,
reactivate my TikTok. Like,
yeah. I will say I have never had a TikTok and I've just signed up for social medias. Like I said, I have a Twitter. I don't use it. I
me
just
neither.
got it because it was the thing to do. But I feel like TikTok to me, it just sounds like people just constantly doing Fortnite dances or some BS like that. That's what I perceive TikTok to be. But I've heard people on podcasts talking about how, there are a lot of people putting out some good information on this platform.
When it comes to like posting something online, have you gotten into any toxic arguments because of something that you said or something that, or maybe vice versa, like something somebody said and you try to say, hey, this is not nice, or like any toxic arguments that you got involved with, like, I mean,
Oh
because
yeah. I
when it comes
mean,
to cancellation, that's how it starts. It can the cancellation starts with a very really long argument, and after argument, and then it goes to like people have even gotten death threats, for saying something that you know it's
yeah.
unpopular, or it's like,
Yeah. That's seriously like when this whole pandemic started, I was one of those people that was like, oh no, this is no big deal because I was listening to people like Dr. Drew. And as it turns out, he might have had the wrong idea when this whole thing started. And he was kind of downplaying it a bit more uh, than perhaps he would have liked it to have turned out to be. And he was like, "Oh, this is a bunch of panic. They're just inciting." And while that may be true, I'm sure the news agencies are inciting a lot of people to panic, perhaps
Mm,
more than necessary in order to once again get more eyeballs, get more views.
mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I was like, this is no big deal, whatever. I'm just going to keep living my life. But then my job was like, "Hey, we're working from home." And I was like, "Cool. I don't have to commute. Awesome. I can stay
Uh-huh.
at home." That was
Yeah.
good for me. Uh, but I was literally about to fly out. Like, this is almost a year now. Like, a year ago, me and my wife had tickets to
Yeah.
go visit her family in England.
Ooh.
And yeah, there was people like Trump was shutting it down here and there. And I was
Right.
like, I
So,
don't want to get stuck somewhere
right,
and then
right.
have to ride out this thing however long, the 14 days
Yeah.
to flatten the curve. I was like, I
Mm-hmm.
don't want to ride out extra 14 days on
Right.
vacation. That's going to drain my bank account. So I was like, maybe we shouldn't go on this trip. And then,
Right.
yeah, the S really hit the fan, and you're like, yeah, I'm glad I didn't go on that trip.
Did anybody like kind of change your mind about that online? Like, hey, maybe you shouldn't fly?
Yeah. Yeah, pretty much. You're like, you have to change your mind. And that's part of the problem with the whole cancel culture is that people aren't allowed to change their mind ever or to have a
Mm-hmm.
different opinion and have their mind changed by people convincing them. Nobody's
Right.
open to other ideas. You need to be able to change your mind. Something as simple as that. Why is it you can't be convinced? And that's the problem is like you see people are sticking to their guns like backing Trump up until the day they die. They're just gonna back that horse until it kicks the bucket.
Right. Yeah,
And you're like,
pretty
people
much.
need to
And
be allowed to make a mistake.
true.
And
And
speak
it's just human nature because you
mm,
can say something and it's like, oh, okay, I didn't know. Or like I
yeah,
remember I remember being in a discussion on Facebook because I have said something and somebody found it offensive what I said because it even tried to imply that I was, somewhat bigoted. And I'm like, that's not my intention. Like, I mean,
mm,
if that sounded bigoted to you, I apologize. Last June, when the Black Lives Matter protest turned into, I did a video live on Facebook when there was a bunch of people who had nothing to do with the peaceful protest, and they were rioting on Melrose, and they were
yeah,
breaking into Japan LA because I know the owner. I actually went on an interview with her because I wanted to work there, and I just felt bad because like these people on Melrose these are small businesses, and they
yeah.
were just like just
Getting trashed.
breaking everything, trash, trash, trash,
Yeah.
and everything was just destroyed. And I'm like, what are you guys doing? And I was saying that on live. A friend, reached out to me on my private message, and she told me, this is you're accusing all of them, to be. Actually, she said that it's justified. Why you need to worry about small business owners? They have insurance, or like, this is people to wake up and like you should take your video down. Like you're demonizing the movement. And I'm like, I am not demonizing
Mm.
anybody. I'm demonizing a crime.
Mm.
I'm pointing
Yeah.
out a crime. And what you're
Yeah.
doing, because first of all, the owners of the small businesses have nothing to do with what happened with the killings of innocent Black people. It have
Mm.
nothing to do with the police being,
Yeah.
murderers, or they have nothing to do with anything. And the argument kept going, like on
Yeah.
direct messages, and I'm just like,
Yeah.
are you gonna ever agree to disagree?
Yeah.
Ever? Like, if you're gonna think this way about me, I mean, like, and if I have a chance to explain myself, okay, great. But like, you can't go on and tell me what to do and try to censor me, because it's just. I mean, this is why I am neutral about this topic because I'm totally for calling out people for saying bigoted things or homophobic things, like call them out. Yes, you are transphobic, or like you that's not right. You need to learn about the LGBTQ, or you need to learn about this culture, or before saying something like that, I think you need to take it back
Yeah.
and then be like, oh, okay, so let's talk, open dialogue. Because if you do not give the air, or you don't get a room for that, then how are you going to solve things? It's just by punishing people, or by firing people, or by shutting them down, or like, hate. It's like everything is not solved. I don't think it solves
Yeah.
anything. And this is
Yeah.
why, like, in a way, people who get canceled end up getting support instead
Yeah.
of,
That seems to be what's
you
happening with Gina. She's doubling down on getting canceled. And yeah, there's a certain niche market. I don't know what you would call it. There's a certain percentage of people who will support her
That's right.
even more so. She's, you know, I I seriously thought after hearing about all that stuff, I went to go find her Instagram or Twitter, and I was like, oh, it's probably going to be down. But no, it's there. And she's like doubling down. She's like, oh,
Yeah.
I'm doing a movie with Ben Shapiro or somebody
Yeah.
like that.
Right.
And I'm doing this. I'm going to be fine, fam. And I'm like, oh, for real? You're
Yeah.
just double
Yeah.
down on this whole
Yeah, she
idea.
did. And I'm like, hey, if she's gonna find a way to move on and to keep doing what she gotta do, and then I think Disney dropped the ball here. Because if you are going to have this criteria where, like, you cannot be bigoted in public, you cannot say certain things, or you can't, then all employees or all actors, or including, if you're involved in this hateful movement of any kind, you
Yeah.
cannot be employed at Disney. Just keep it fair, because
Yeah.
there's many people in Hollywood still employed that
Yeah.
may be worse than Chris and
Yeah.
Gina, right? So,
Yeah. And it's weird how some people seem to get a second chance. Like, I mean,
right, like James Gunn, right?
yeah, James Gunn, or I was trying to think, what's the guy, the creator of Rick and Morty?
Oh, I'm sorry, I don't watch this show.
Dan Harmon. But yeah, I think he was involved in some kind of semi-lascivious relationship with a employee of some kind, where he had a young female employed at his company or to him personally. I'm not sure.
They made a parody video in which he simulates raping a baby doll.
Oh,
And
yeah, that too. I forgot about that. I think I remember looking that up, and that was crazy that someone would do something like that and
uh,
think it was a joke. I mean, yeah, some people say, there's nothing that can't be joked about, but seriously, that can't be joked about raping babies. That's completely off limits.
I
And
mean, we've
it's
seen South Park. I mean, like, what was the limit for them? Because
they
there's a lot
they
of
haven't
things that they did
they
that I
haven't
found
found it
very.
yet. Yeah. They haven't found the limit. They're still looking for it.
I mean, did they actually make fun? I mean, did they make fun of every religion, every single religion?
I think so. Maybe that's the only thing that's gotten them, kept them above board, is that they're being uh fair with making fun of everyone.
They
That
made fun of
everyone's an idiot.
Scientology, that they lost
Oh
their
yeah.
character, one of
They-
their characters.
Oh yeah, they ripped on Scientology hard. Yeah, that's
Oh,
where
I
Chef
loved it.
went. Yeah,
I
poor Chef.
it was rest in peace. Only one comment came out, okay, for our show and our topic. So this is from Blaine, Plain Balls. Okay. So this is, he says, as intolerance grows, more brash. Oh, as intolerance grows more brash, the repercussions must match. And I didn't
Mm-hmm.
quite understand that, so I actually asked him to elaborate,
Mm-hmm.
and he did actually explain a little bit more. So I'm gonna read, and basically, and people are getting way too bold with their words and actions. If one is bold enough to take an action, they must be ready to deal with the consequences. So take responsibility of what you say, what comes out of your mouth,
Yeah.
or what you type, right?
Yeah.
So and he supports the cancel culture. So basically, that's his stand for it. But I want to say thank you, Plain Balls, for your comment. And so, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, there's certainly an argument for that, that people in power, are encouraging this kind of thing. Trump, he's out there making fun of people for how they look, their race, their culture, their sexual proclivities. He's grabbing them by the peas. He's doing all this stuff. And that's just encouraging more people to do stuff like that.
Right.
So yeah, if these people are going to start actually doing the things they've talked about doing online, then maybe we need to, take the punishment should fit the crime. If I don't know, but I don't know what that looks like.
Right. It's like we gotta find that. It's like, okay, not going too far. Like, for example, like Karens, right? Or the racist guy who just tells someone, get off my country, or like, or telling me, hey, he catches me speaking Spanish with my mom. It's like, hey, don't talk that language. This is America, like,
Yeah.
and of course I'm probably naturally gonna take out my phone and be like, oh bitch, you're gonna get fired. No, no, and like
If you don't like it, you can
time.
get out.
And I'm like, look, people are I'm gonna say whatever they say, because I see this as, I've been in arguments, I have been told racist slurs, and only in time they're gonna change, and it's up to their will, because you cannot control everyone. I mean, you can only take a stand and say, you know what, I am not gonna put up with this, so I'm gonna just, I'm gonna ignore you, and period. I mean, like, if you're gonna come and attack me, then we're gonna have a problem, because then that becomes a hate crime, because that's illegal. If you're attacking somebody based on their race, sex, origin, and their creed, or the language, or the freedom of speech, if you're gonna attack me, then that's a hate crime, and I'm like, you're going to jail. But when it comes to something that you're just saying, you're just blabbing your mouth, and you're like, you know what, I'm just gonna go la 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 la, like Matt TV, like la 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 la, like.
Yeah, at a certain point, how much energy does one person have to expend on ignorance? Are you expected to really, every time and I'm sure, and I know I've talked about this a little bit with my wife, that, me personally, I don't particularly look very ethnic. I actually got a little curly hair going on right now. So, but yeah,
Were
just
you
looking
bald?
at me.
Did you do the quarantine baldness, or like the shave?
I did my hair for this show. Oh,
you wanted to look more ethnic for Black History Month. Oh.
And that we were talking about that. Like, I don't particularly look like I'm black, but yeah, you wouldn't believe me if I said, yeah, my dad's black. Some people probably wouldn't believe me, and maybe that's to my benefit, maybe that's to my detriment, that I haven't lived the life where I've had to put up with that much ignorance and people coming at me with that kind of hostility in those ways. Like
Right.
You're talking about, you've literally come up against that yourself personally. It's not something you're reading about in a history book. And that may be a part of the issue with some some of these Karens, that they're like, racism is gone, it's not a thing anymore. And you're like, I think a lot more people are seeing, because of the Black Lives Matter type things,
It's being
they're
filmed.
seeing firsthand that these things are still happening on a very regular basis.
Oh, let me
And
tell you something. It's just more it's just the thing is how there's power of people just saying whatever they want, but like here's the thing. I lived in that time where racism was okay. It
yeah,
was totally okay. Like it was totally okay for racist laws to be passed, and it happened here in California. I mean, I've been through that, and like there's been times where I was discriminated, like right there, like in public, and
yeah,
and it was totally normal. Nobody called out on it. Nobody got canceled. Nobody got punished for it. I mean, it's just happened recently. A lot of people who, Latinos, Asians, they immigrants, like even Irish people, like Jewish people, they got the harshest racist treatment, much worse than what's happening today. Because today it's like, oh, nobody's filming it, and or we're just saying some stupid racist slur, and but back then it was just awful. It was just like totally acceptable, and it was
yeah,
legal. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? It's like, and now it's kind of like it's kind of creeping it way back in, and especially when you say, okay, Trump is kind of like powering that, like let's make like a
mm.
MAGA thing, like okay, make America great again. So great again, like back at those days when that was allowed,
When we were on top, quote unquote.
when they were on top, when people like you would be, I don't know, be treated poorly or not getting the job, or like or people like me be like, oh, I'm being kicked out, and
Yeah,
it's so
and that
crazy.
yeah, that's maybe another part of the issue is that people, a lot of people are hurting, especially nowadays,
Mm-hmm.
and hurt people, as they say,
Yep.
and they're just looking for someone to blame. And
Yeah.
if you go looking for it, yeah, sure, there's a lot of easy targets that you could pin your current state on.
So almost we're gonna wrap it up, but like I think one of my questions is like, do you think like in your you can answer this if you like, because you've been you're in that industry, but like, do you think there's a lot of people that deserve to keep their jobs? Like, is there a lot of people who are
Mm,
just as bad as, I don't know, maybe
who
bad as
are
Gina Carano or worse than that need to be like, okay,
mm.
you should not work in this industry anymore, like you're
But I mean,
is there
see,
a lot of bad weeds in Hollywood? Is there a lot of bad you know
yeah, but it does a bad apple ruin the bunch? To a certain extent, I think they certainly do. But I feel like things are generally a lot better than they have been in the past.
mm,
People are generally much more tolerant and accepting of new ideas. Could a Black Lives Matter movement have survived any other state of government or state of mind of the country's state of mind in the past? You
mm,
know, yeah, and that's, I mean, that's been one of the main detractions of the movement in general, is the amount of violence and property damage and other distasteful things have happened at these movements in these situations. But like your friend was saying, is that what's necessary in order to literally snap people out of their sleep? They're comfortable in their slumber thinking racism's dead, but it's not. It's alive and well to a
it's
certain
very
extent.
alive. Yeah, it's very alive. It's just kind of like
So yeah, do
it's
we
just
need to, you know, people don't, like we said in Inception earlier, you need to give people a kick so they can wake up. You like how I brought that
that's a
around?
great analogy. I like that.
Ba-boom. I gotta pat myself on the back for that one.
So far so far we're just like the ending. It's still spinning.
Yeah, yeah,
Oh
we
wait,
haven't
it
really.
actually everybody is talking about that ending. Did it actually stop?
It started to wobble. I think it started to wobble.
It
It was
started to
gonna stop.
wobble, like, but it didn't. Did it stop? Nolan is a freaking, it trolls me. It fucks your mind like that. And you know
Yeah,
what? It makes
he's
me
gonna
want to
make
go
you
like
watch.
motherfucker, because Memento really, really, really fucked me over in a good way. Memento, I watched this for my film class, and I'm like, all right, okay. And then at the end, I'm like, no, oh, I need it. No, no. Thank you so much for joining me. It's been an hour, by the way.
Yeah, that went quick.
I think that was the time's up because he froze. Thank you for joining me. I appreciate you watching. Those who say hi, thank you for stopping by. Even if you haven't seen the whole thing, I appreciate it. Thank you so much. And we'll see you next time. I don't know. There you are. Okay. Yeah, I don't know what happened, dude. It just happened. I gotta go. I need to go to the bathroom.